Okay, welcome to HotPOS Unboxed for the Casio SE S2000 cash register. Very popular machine, this one, used in many retail environments. Great for general retail shops, fashion shops, convenience stores, anywhere where you'd like a broad range of categories to split up your sales. In this case we have 30 keys. This is of the raised keyboard flavour. Raised keys are very durable. You'll notice the Casio S2000 also has two printers. We have the journal printer and the receipt printer, where it's important for change calculations to be recorded in case there's disputes, or if we need to really check individual button presses for security from management. It's important to have a journal printer. This records every button press that is made on the cash register. Alright, so now we're going to set up the cash register for the first time. Alright, so we've got our Casio SE S2000 cash register out of the box. First thing we need to do is put paper in. To do that, I'm just going to rotate the cash register so you can see the paper cover simply pulls up and forward from the back. We lay that down. We've got two rolls of paper, one for receipt printer, one for journal roll. And here we have our journal take-up spool, which I'll show you in a minute, right here. Okay, first let's insert the receipt paper roll. To do that, we pull up on the paper arm. The paper simply sits at the bottom of the cradle. There's no feeding mechanism. The paper comes from underneath, not over the top. Sit the paper in the bottom of the cradle, pull paper out, and push the arm back down like so. Journal printer is much the same. I'll just turn it around here so we can get a better look. Like so. We pull up the paper arm. We sit the paper again feet front underneath in the bottom of the cradle. We pull it forward, close the lid. One more procedure obviously is feeding it onto the journal take-up spool. To do that, there are a couple of slots in here. We simply just put the paper in like so, and we wind it on. Once we've wound it on a little bit, we take the other side of the spool and we clip that into place, like so, and there's just one little slot for it to go in the bottom of the printer, like so. And we'll just make sure that's nice and flat. Next, we take our paper cover, we simply pop him in like so, and close the lid, and we are ready to go. Okay, now we're going to run through the setup for the S2000. We're going to be reading directly off the setup guide, which is available from the HotPOS Help website. That's hotposhelp.com.au. The guides are downloadable from there. They're only accessible for HotPOS customers. Please email us to get login and password. Okay, so first we need the key into our cash register. We need to have power on at the wall. The first step is to hold down our receipt feed button, our journal feed button, like so. While we're holding that down, we quickly flick the key around to the program mode. We leave our finger on the journal feed for approximately 5 seconds and then release. Once we've done that successfully, on the display is shown init, which means initialization, and a bunch of zeros. We now have to enter in what's called the MAC code, which basically sets up the cash register for Australian conditions. The code is on the setup guide, so we're just going to read off that and enter. So it's 13000 and subtotal. Now we just have to wait for the machine to initialize. This process can take anywhere from 12 to 20 seconds. It's tempting to do something and because it doesn't look like it's working, but in fact it is going in the background, and in about 20 seconds we'll see an initialization process come on the screen, and there'll be a printout from the receipt printer. There we go. Okay, so once that's done, we can see a printout was obtained. We simply rip off the receipt and we're ready to start. Next step on the guide is to set up the register for Australian GST. To do so, we turn the key to the X position, like like so. You can tell we're in X because it says daily X on the display. We enter the sequence from the setup guide, 0101 to 0001, and we press subtotal. We then press cash. Okay, and we get a printout saying the GST system was changed. Right, now we're going to enter in the time and date. The time goes in 24-hour format. We make sure our keys are around the program position, and we simply enter, if the time here is 1:30, we enter in 1330 and press the X/day time key. You'll get a printout and the time will be displayed on the operator display. We then press the clear key. Then we're going to enter in the date, going year, month, day. So we enter in 11 for the year, we enter in 08 for the month, and 10 for the day. We then press the X/date time key again. We now have the correct date and time displaying on the operator display. Alright, we're now going to quickly enter the GST status for our departments. Obviously in Australia we have our 10% GST. Very simple to add the GST to our categories. We have the key in the program position like it is now. We just press clear after our entering in our date. We then enter one subtotal to go into program mode. We then toggle with the tax department key the tax status we would like to use. Our tax program key is located here next to the help button. When we press that, once we see the tax status 1 is selected on the display, that is actually our GST status. You can toggle between multiple tax statuses, which thankfully we don't have in Australia at the moment. Also, pressing it 5 times will get you to non-taxable. That's used for non-GST departments. So we'll just continue to toggle that back to tax status 1 for GST. We then just press each of our departments that has GST like so. Okay, now in this case we're going to assume tax. Department 30 does not have tax, in fact it's a non-GST department. We just toggle our tax through until it says non-tax on our display. We press Department 30, Department 30 is now a non-tax category. When we've completed all those steps, we simply press subtotal, and that has completed the setup. We can now run through some basic operations on the cash register. We can move our key around to the register position. This is reg mode, is where we do all of our daily transactions. It's called register mode. As a default, the item keys are open prices, so we start by entering a price. In this case our item is $3. You'll notice I entered 300. I did not use the decimal point. We never use decimal points when entering prices. You will get an error if you do that, and you just press clear to finalise. Decimal point is only used for some complex programming. We then press Department 1, like so, and let's put $3 to Department 1. If we have another item, let's say $5 to Department 3, and maybe $15.50 to Department 2, we would enter 1550 Department 2. We can then subtotal if that's the total amount of the items in the sale. $23.50, the subtotal is displayed on the screen. The customer may hand you a $50 note, in which case you enter 5000 and press cash. Cash drawer opens, the receipt is printed, and on our display is shown the $26.50 change to be given to the customer. Now the next thing we're going to cover is some simple error corrections for our till. So if we're making a mistake as we're entering, we just press clear to take the display back to 0. If we begin entering a price, $12, and we realise before we've pressed our department keys that we've entered the wrong amount, we simply press clear, and that will take us back to 0. Now if we enter in our $12 and allocate that to Department 1 and quickly realise actually that should have gone to Department 2, we press the error correct button here on the left hand side, and that removes the last item that we rung up. We can prove that by pressing subtotal, and it comes back down to 0. We can then enter, in fact it was $1.20, I'm missing a 0, $1.20 to the correct department 2 and continue with the sale. If we press subtotal, we see it's $1.20. If the customer gives you exact change at this stage, rather than entering an amount and pressing cash, you can simply press cash, like so. Now, in the instance where there has been a number of items entered, so we might have $20 department 2, $30 department 3 and so forth, and we press subtotal, and if the customer maybe has forgotten their purse or their wallet, or they cannot pay for the transaction, the card may have been declined and have to talk to their bank, you can remove the complete sale by pressing the same button, the error correct cancel, after you've pressed the subtotal button. So we've pressed subtotal, we have $50 in total, the transaction can't be completed, we simply press cancel, which brings us back to 0, like so. Now we're just going to show you quickly how to do an end of day report on the cash register. So after we've entered our sales for the day, we move our key around to the Z position, like so. You can see it says Daily Z. This will zeroise and print your daily reports. You just press cash, put the key in Z. You'll notice it's also recorded on the journal printer here, so you do have a backup if you have the models with 2 printers like the S2000. On here we have the total departmentalised sales, we have our gross totals, we have any management functions like cancel or voids that have been done, good to keep an eye on those, and of course a cash in draw figure here which you need to balance to for your till at the end of the day.